All right. Talk a little bit about my work habits and my work.
Mhm.
I had mentioned that we went to North American Phillips. From there, I was called over to do a job in Yardley. One of the fellows that left Bendix, that was a manager, liked the work I did there and asked me to come over and straighten out all the rates in Yardley because they were getting away with astronomical rates. So I went over there to work with Kenny Hall in Yardley and worked there a couple of years. And Yardley decided that they were going to close the operation in Totowa, which was the only place I ever worked that was within 20 minutes of the house, and move everything up to their main facility in Canada. So I was called then by another guy that I worked with in Yardley to come over and work in the Bronx. And that's where I started working in my pharmaceutical career, was over in the Bronx, ABC Pharmaceuticals in the Bronx. And that was a whole other experience. You can imagine going into the Bronx every day in the Red Hook section. It was a pretty rough area. But that's where I started my progression upward management, and I became a manager in the Bronx. And then in the Bronx, the purchasing director left and went to PurePack, which was run by a Jewish man. And lo and behold, I got a call there. Please come over to work in PurePack as an assistant to the vice president, because they'd had a lot of production issues that had to be straightened out. So I went over there. I ended up working for PurePack for like 22 years. The last 10 years in PurePack, I was promoted to executive vice president of operations.
And can I interject here about the pinball machine?
Yeah, go right ahead.
And when Daddy got that job at PurePack as vice president, he said to me, "So what would you like to have to celebrate?" And so I said, "A pinball machine." So you know about the story of the pinball machine. It's still in the basement, and it's moved from Mountain Avenue to Georgia.
It works when it feels like it.
Yeah, it's always kind of worked when it's felt like it. But it's when it works, it's a whole lot of fun, and everybody has enjoyed the pinball machine.
Yeah,
So the rest of
true.
the story is
Well, I had a career that I liked, and PurePack was bought by the German outfit, which I did very well with, and then they were bought by another American outfit, which was okay with me too. I was still vice president. And then Australians bought us out, and they didn't know anything about manufacturing. They're a distribution company, and we did not get along. The chairman of their board and myself didn't see things straight. Long story short, they asked me to go into administration, where I ended up writing all the SOPs, standard operating procedures for the company, because I was pretty good at that too. I got a ghostwriter, and we worked together doing that. And then things started falling apart, and they called me in and said, "We have to start cutting people, and you've done what you have to do." I was 59 years old, and they said, "We're going to have to let you go." And I said, "Well, okay, you have to do that." And 2 weeks later, I was working as the vice president of operation for G&W Labs, because they knew me there, and when they found out I was out of work, they called me up there. So I'm telling you this only because here I am with not even a BS degree. I've got an associate's degree, and I was in a position having doctors and PhDs working for me. So
You
what does
didn't
that?
have, you never got a master's degree.
No, but I had all these people with these high degrees working for me. So what does that tell you? That tells you that God must have been there someplace directing this, because it certainly wasn't me. And I left these careers with people keeping in touch with me still today. So I left with a lot of integrity, and I used to sit in my office sometimes just thanking God, and I would go in G&W especially and tell my assistant, my secretary there, the first 5 to 10 minutes, doors closed, we're going to have a talk with God while we're here. And then I ended up having people come in and want to talk to God with me. So it was really interesting. But I left the career at 63 and a half. I retired. I was only going to be there for 3 years, but they persuaded me to stay 5 years. And I left in 2001 and retired and moved to Georgia.
Mm-hmm. We did. Yep.